I have not been this excited to talk about a movie in quite a while. I don't know what kind of mind-altering illegal activities they're doing over at Netflix, but they've been doing something, because just a few weeks ago I talked about a show on Netflix called Chaos, which was a banger, and now here I am again on my knees with my mouth gaped open, ready for Netflix to take me. The movie I am talking about is Rebel Ridge. It's been out a little while, so I'm a little late to the party here. This movie is fantastic. I loved every second of it, and one thing you guys might not know about me is I am a sucker for revenge tales. Stuff like John Wick and Without Remorse. Anything where somebody is trying to get their revenge on somebody who done something bad to them, I am here for it. It is some of the most entertaining shit that I ever watch. From the trailer, we basically see that there is a bunch of cops that just keep messing with this guy, and they just keep poking the bear over and over and over again until he basically snaps. However, the appeal to me in this movie is like, unlike most stories like this where there's like a closeted fucking badass who is just one bad day away from causing some mayhem, this main character is basically a pacifist. Don't worry, I'm not going to get into spoilers yet, but throughout the movie we see him try to avoid conflict as much as he possibly can. And basically what these police do is they use laws in a very roundabout way, kind of like a loophole to make the crime seem much bigger than it actually is. The police force is corrupt, and the reasonings behind it might surprise you. But before we get into the spoilers, my favorite part about this entire thing is the fact that this guy is a pacifist. But by looking at him, you obviously know that he is a complete badass in his own right. But while the police chief is doing some background checks on this guy, he finds out that he was a part of the army at one point, but he never got deployed overseas. He never actually fought in a battle. And this gives this man a very big fucking head. He thinks that since this guy never served overseas, he never actually fought in a battle, that he is a pussy. Basically, he thought that he could just mess with him and like threaten him and scare him off. And now, before I say anything else, this is in the trailer, so this isn't a spoiler at all. But they find out that this man, of course, he did not fight overseas or anything, but they didn't take into account one thing. He may not have done that, but he is a combat specialist in weapons and hand-to-hand combat. Like, he is a fucking master. He trained the army how to fight in hand-to-hand combat, how to fight against weapons with your hands, how to use weapons effectively. Like, he is a fucking menace. And seeing the panic on these policemen's face, especially after so many things that they do, you hate these cunts by the end of this movie. You fucking despise them. So seeing them squirm and get a bit worried about this man is one of my favorite things. But unlike most revenge tales, my man does not use a weapon once. He doesn't shoot a bullet. He has taken on these armed men and taken them down with finesse. I don't think he even kills anybody in this movie, even though you root for him to do it. I don't think he ever does. But he might not kill them, but my man violates them, alright? But if you don't want to hear any spoilers, this is the part of the video you should click off. But I will say you should 100% give this movie a try. It is a lot of fun. The action is so well fucking shot. The storyline is heartbreaking, but at the same time you are rooting for this man. And the more you learn out, the more you want him to fuck shit up. It is just an epic revenge tale. It is so satisfying at the end. And watching this man, who has actually never even been in a street fight, a real street fight, taking on these armed, trained men in very creative ways, using smokes and stuff to his advantage so we can get up close. It's just so cool because it's done in a realistic way that like somebody who does just do hand-to-hand combat would use to their advantage, because of course they are cops. He can't just kill them willy-nilly. Even if they are corrupt, he can't do that because he will go to jail. So this man is no pussy whatsoever, even though he tries to avoid conflict as much as possible. When conflict goes down, my man is the one in control. You constantly see him taking weapons away from people, getting rid of all the bullets, dropping the mags. It's just so smooth, and you can tell that this man done actual training with weapons. He looks like somebody who knows a weapon back to front. So give it a watch, you won't regret it. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, let's get into the spoiler talk, folks. As I said in the spoiler free part, the part that I really enjoyed about this movie is how skilled my man is, even without a weapon in hand. Like, we see him multiple times use weapons as like an intimidation tactic, or especially with the scene when he goes up to confront the police chief and the police chief tries to pull out his gun to shoot the guy. My man just nonchalantly puts his hand on the barrel and just calmly tells your man not to do that. They casted this fucking actor perfectly, man. He is a unit of a man. His fucking eyes, the way they just look into people's souls, man. He's like the Ghost Rider. He is just such an intimidating presence, and he plays this role fucking perfectly. He is a hunk of a fucking man. This man was making me question things in this movie, man. He is a good looking chap, I can't lie. But just the way he takes control of certain situations that like you and I would 100% lose in. Like the same scene when he's confronting the chief and the other policeman comes out with his gun drawn, so he just gets the guy in a body hold and just holds him in front of him as a meat shield. And then you have the rednecks off to the side just like pointing their guns at him because they're just seeing some like fucking police brutality or assault or whatever. Just the way he uses the chief to his advantage so he doesn't get shot going in. And even when he is in the police station, everything he does has a purpose. He is purposely looking at everything when he goes in for like the fucking report about like when he goes in to report the crime of them taking his money. He is purposely looking around the room and analyzing everything. He has such an intimidating presence that when he goes in, he intimidates the police officers, gets them to sit in the center of the room. And even though this man has like a very gentle way of speaking, even the way he says to the police chief, sit down or I will sit you down, fucking shook me, man. If somebody said that to me with such a calm demeanor, I'd shit myself. Because yeah, there is like a scariness to seeing somebody acting crazy and screaming at you and like looking like they would do something. But when somebody is so calm in a situation that they shouldn't be calm in, and there is no look of worry or fear of loss or anything like that whatsoever in their face, that has a whole different level of intimidation to it. They don't even need to get crazy for that. Even just the story, which I thought was going to be so fucking simple, had so many layers to it. Like, they pull this guy over, pull him over, they fucking knock him off his bike for God's sake. And just watching him manipulate the situation just so he would be late in getting his cousin out is crazy, because they are literally saying that just because they have the slightest suspicion that this man is using this money for drugs is so slimy. And 100% police officers do this, and you just get to see how fucking like manipulative these cunts are, because they make a deal where they can keep 20 grand and they just give him the 10k back for, you know, the bail, and they make a deal that he's able to see his cousin before he goes to bail him out. But then another loophole is in play. They say that you have to be here at 9 a.m. and he gets there like 2 minutes late and his cousin is already gone. Just watching how smug this fucking police chief is in this situation and how like annoyingly nonchalant he is about the whole thing. He was like, oh, where's my cousin? You said I could see my cousin. And he was like, oh, I said you could see him at 9 a.m. It's now 9:02 a.m. Really makes you feel for this man. You see in his eyes that he is trying his hardest to hold back his anger. But time and time again, they fucking do this to him. They use so many little sly tactics to get under his skin. And that was what was compelling about this story. You see this man trying his best to abide by the law, but these cops are using his cousin's past against him, which is so fucking infuriating to watch. And what made it even worse, that really fucking like infuriated me, and I honestly thought was going to be like the jumping off point, which surprisingly wasn't, was when he got arrested and he got put in the car with the police chief and another police officer, and he just said, for your own good, please hear him out. I thought that they were bringing him somewhere to like execute him, because my man comes out with a fucking rifle and a baseball bat or some shit. But then even that had its own little twist to it, where they were like, look, here's your money. We heard that your cousin was stabbed up really badly in jail. And this is the point that I could see that they were scared of this man. They were trying to get him off their tail because they knew they were to blame for his cousin's death. And he even says it, he's like, oh, we could sit here all day passing around the blame, but it won't change the situation at hand. But surprisingly, he takes the deal. So I was thinking to myself, what the fuck is going to get him to that point? But the way they done it was so fucking good, because it shows how much restraint this man is actually trying to have with these police officers, because he knows he won't walk away from it. But after my man abides by this rule, the deal that they made, these fuckers go and drug the lawyer that they know is working alongside him or was like looking into stuff about their past. And when I first seen it, I thought that they were just trying to kill her off and try pass it off as an overdose or something. But what they did was so much more sinister. Finding out that this woman was a recovered drug addict whose only reason that she is able to see her son again is because she promised to stay clean, which she has been abiding by that. But these fuckers went into her house, drugged her, and then filed a report saying that they think that she is using again, knowing that that means that she would have to go and take a drug test and in turn lose her child. That is fucking evil, man. Just the plot lines in this movie are just so well thought out, you know? Like, the police are doing this stuff in such smart ways to like get around the law so it won't ever come back on them. And the mad thing about it is, even this wasn't the jumping off point. My man goes to her house and tries to help her out, and she even tells him, no, you should do exactly what you were doing, get out of here and leave this like town behind. I'll be okay here, I'll just, you know, take it on the chin and keep going forward. And he actually listens to her. That is why this guy is such a good character. He has layers, he isn't just a fucking beast, you know? And even just the end fight, man, when he's fighting all the police officers, I loved like the internal fucking like conflict that they were having, because obviously not all of them are corrupt. The absolute dickhead police officer shows up with the mother in his car that he had just given so much drugs to that it could possibly kill her, and he's just saying this to this fucking big brolic beast of a man while laughing and smiling about it, and then has the audacity to try and shoot this man who is surrendering, by the way. And of course the non-bad police officers in this fucking team take note of this. They're like, no, he's surrendering, we don't need to shoot him. And then they start holding the guns on each other, you know? Like, I just liked that. I liked the fact that it showed that not all the police officers are like this, you know? Not all of them are bad cops. But like, even just the plan that he has to turn on the sirens of one of the cars so he could get the dash cam footage and show that he was actually trying to help this police officer that the chief just shot. He has evidence of all of this shit. He got it on the dash cam footage, which I fucking thought was very smart. My brother in Christ, watching this man go full fucking ballistic mode on these cunts was some of the most satisfying cinema I've ever watched. Because up until this point, he hasn't really done anything to them. He's intimidated them, he's like fucking chained them up and stuff, but like he hasn't actually done any physical damage to them. But watching him just mow through these cunts, and just the way he does it, like using the fucking smoke grenades to his advantage to cover his position. And I loved how brutal it was. I loved how brutal it was without even having to use a gun. But there's one part where he's got someone in a chokehold and chokes them out, and a police officer comes around the other side of the car, so he tries to run and get cover, gets the guy on the ground, grabs his arm and just stomps on his elbow, snapping his arm in half. Oh my god. It made me cringe, but I fucking loved it. I hate like bone breaking scenes, but like this man was fully justified in his actions. And the cherry on top, just the way he lays into that fucking dickhead cop was immensely satisfying to my brain. Everyone else, he's just getting in chokeholds. Yeah, he broke that other guy's arm, but like, you know, he has to be a bit violent, you know, he has to get his point across. But everyone else, he's dispersing of quickly. He's not spending too much time on them. He's doing damage and moving on to the next. But when he gets to this guy, he just spears him to the ground and lays some fucking hands on this man. The power behind the man's punch, the impact of the punch, just how the guy reacts when he got punched. Gets on top of him, lays into him, and then elbows him like 3 times. That does some damage, man. It is so fucking cool. And when shotguns and stuff are coming his way, the way he just disperses of it, as I said at the start. My favorite being when he grabs the shotgun and just cocks all the fucking bullets out of it and then just smacks the guy with it. Oh my fucking Christ. But this is gonna be the end of the video, folks. You should really give this movie a watch. It is a fucking classic. If you liked this video, make sure to leave a like down below. And if you didn't, leave a dislike. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the video and what I could do to improve the future videos for you lot. And if you're new here and you like my face, make sure to go onto the channel. There's a whole variety of different content on there that I'm sure you will enjoy. And if you like my face and you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 1K by the end of the year. And if we get there, I'm going to be jumping out of a plane with you lot. Yay. But yeah, sorry if this video was a bit all over the place. I don't really write notes for this. I just kind of, whatever movie excites me or show excites me, I just sit down and just get them all off my head. But yeah, boys and girls, with that said, it's been EXO. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one, folks.